Mr. Speaker, I rise today in my maiden speech to talk about the importance of school resource officers, commonly known as SROs, in helping students and faculty to feel safe in our schools. This is an absolutely essential in fostering an academic environment which allows students to explore and excel in their studies. Assembly Bill 69 would require schools to report an incident as defined in the bill in a school building or on the school grounds to law enforcement. The school has 100 incidences in the 5-month period, and at least 25 of those incidences lead to an arrest. The school must employ or contract a school resource officer by the start of the next year. Assembly Amendment 1 adjusts the start time period for which this information is collected to take into account schools that function outside of a 2-semester structure. The second portion of the amendment removes the 2025-26 school year of funding due to the funds needing to be spent before a certain date. I appreciate the input of my colleagues that led to these changes. SROs should be viewed as a common sense approach in our overall goal to stem the violence that has been rapidly escalating at schools since students returned to full-time in-person learning. While I would certainly not discount the benefits of schools providing mental health resources in an attempt to stem the growing tide of violence, as officers are called to schools at an alarming rate, it is clear the status quo can't continue. I worry that should we stay on the current path, more kids and faculty will be attacked or subject to other jarring incidences by other students, or, as we've seen way too much of very recently, other adults such as parents. Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson recognizes that a course correction is needed. His spokesman recently told the Badger Institute that it is, quote, likely that Milwaukee police officers will have a renewed presence in some Milwaukee public schools in 2023, unquote. This follows a false semester, as was testified to by the Milwaukee Police Association, which one of those individuals was a former RSO, where 34 Milwaukee public schools made 778 calls for public service. This is a notable increase over the previous semester and the fall of 2021. Here in Madison, there are news reports that have shown over the past year growing concern from parents over their children's safety after major fights have broken out. Police Chief Barnes has proposed a partial or possible full return of officers to schools. Recent altercations, which they've been somewhat mentioned by a number of individuals today, at the Wauwatosa School District showed several violent incidences breaking out at school sporting events. This led to several staff members being violently assaulted, as can be seen in the obtained footage. I think we can all agree that this behavior should not be tolerated. Switching gears just a bit, I know from my own personal experiences growing up with a single mom and a family that had to deal with an ugly divorce, that having a school resource officer on site was not only helpful but a comfort to me and, quite frankly, my siblings who were much younger than me. I know many other students share in that depending on what's going on in their home life. I share this to bring an additional perspective outside of just the violent incidences that we've already mentioned. While different in nature, I find it just as critical in ensuring that students and staff can feel protected through the presence of law enforcement. In closing, Mr. Speaker, I want to recognize what an honor it is to serve in the State Assembly. Just to have the opportunity to debate and exchange ideas with my colleagues is an awesome privilege extended to me by the folks of the 83rd Assembly District. In bringing this legislation forward, I understand that this will not answer or stop 100% of the school violence, but I believe it to be a proven, common sense first step. We all want to see this alarming trend reversed and the safety of students and staff alike prioritized. I am proud to support my bill, and I hope my colleagues will join with me. Mr. Speaker, thank you. The vote is green.